Experience for me happens not when you have a theory, it's confirmed or not, but when something happens which literally destroys the very network of presuppositions. It literally destroys your world.
So let's open up the first theme as to what the nature of the self and experience is, what it's grounded in. Can I push you on this, Carlo? Like, what is you say it's hard to grasp what it's like to see the world outside of our own perspective. You know, you can't have this view from nowhere, as it were. But what do you take the fundamental nature of stuff to be? Is it all just physical processes? Can we capture this all in the language of science?
I think that the word that is fundamental, it's meaningless. There are things which are fundamental from the perspective of physics, and of course everything is physics. There's things fundamental from the perspective of my desires, and that's something else. From the perspective of economics, from the perspective of psychologist, fundamental, it's a very relative world. It means more important for me. I don't think it's a good question what fundamental. We have different ways of describing realities. What's more fundamental, the trees or the forest? Well, I mean, there are the trees and there is a forest. And if I say there are the trees, am I denying the existence of the forest? No, of course not. If I say there are atoms, am I denying that there is water? Of course not. If I say that my brain functions in a certain way, I'm interested in the way it functions, am I denying that there is a me knowing and talking to you? Of course not. I just adding perspectives on that. I don't think the self is anything mysterious, more than a thunderstorm is mysterious. We haven't figured out how thunderstorms works. I think that the self is just a name, is an indexical name, is the name that the person speaking gives to itself. The speaker gives to itself. When you sort of want a metaphysical foundation of that, you get in confusion. Is this idea of a foundation outside everything that is the source of the confusion. I'm very close to what Slava is saying, extremely close to what Slava is saying. I would interpret the vacuum, the emptiness of Nagarjuna in Buddhist philosophy in some metaphysical sense. Nagarjuna has a chapter which is the emptiness is empty. So don't take emptiness too seriously. It only means that you're understanding something, you have to refer it to something else. So it's emptiness of independent existence of things. Things make sense and we can understand them related to something else.
Let's bring Slavoj in on this point then. Slavoj, what are your thoughts here? Is the self nothing mysterious, and is this talk of what's fundamental the wrong sort of question?
I wanted to go to this to the end, but I will answer now. I know in detail all this Anil set and so on, latest cognitivist theories about the self, and I think I don't have time to do it now, they miss precisely the dimension outlined also in Carlo's work, this loop, how we are, of course, part of the world, but at the same time, we always perceive the world from our standpoint. So what I would say, only I wonder, but maybe Carlo will agree in his latest theory I read about this idea of I can observe others, they can observe me, and we reach some intersubjectivity. Here I see this problem. The way we observe, I will be very brief, just one joke that you all know, but I think it's very instructive here. Because you also ask then experience. What is experience? A true experience. I speak here not just as a philosopher, but also in a daily sense. True experience for me happens not when you have a theory, it's confirmed or not, but when something happens which literally destroys the very network of presuppositions. It literally destroys your world. To give you an example, sorry if you know the joke. It's a wonderful old joke which can be applied today to politics. three big politicians today, Putin, Xi, the Chinese, and Trump, are allowed to meet God, and each of them asks him a question. Putin asked him, what will happen to my glorious Russia after we win over Ukraine? God answers, sad news, you will be a Chinese colony. Okay, Putin turns around and cries. Then she asks, God, what will be with my China? He said, yeah, maybe you will get Russia, but you will have an economic collapse. Taiwan will even have to help you. She turns around, starts to cry. Then Trump steps forward and asks God, so what will be with my MAGA, glorious America? If you are a little bit intelligent Hegelian, you know the answer. God turns around and starts to cry. And he is right. What happened now with this Trump revolution? It's not just that within the same horizon where we have more Democrats, more this, more that, some changes and so on. The basic presuppositions of how we perceive reality changed. Experience mean that the very way we experience with measured reality standards fall apart. They disappear. As for the self, very briefly, with human subjectivity, following both of you, I will say this: there is another loop in the sense of something gives birth to something else, which retroactively then grounds its own presupposition. Isn't this, I hope you, Alenka, as a dogmatic Lacanian fellow, will agree? Look, there is human subject only within language, symbolic universe. But at the same time, we are never at home in language. There is always a gap. You say something, you fail exactly to say what you wanted to say, and so on. And now comes my point, very precise one. The subject names this very failure. How do you know that I am a subject and not an automatic monster? When I try to say something but fail, and only through, if this failure is not programmed, an authentic failure, can we grasp the direction of the self. You see the paradox. Again, the self tries to express itself. It's always inadequate. And this very failure retroactively constitutes the self. And to evoke, then I finish immediately. The best known, I hate the movie, I hate Hugh Grant, but did you see Three Weddings and a Funeral? You know that famous scene where he flirts with Andy McDowell? It's all staged, of course. How, you know, he stumbles, repeats itself, blah, blah, blah. Through that, at least in the movie, not for me, he may appear as a subject. If somebody gives you, a lady, sorry for my traditional heterosexual perspective, a perfect love speech, it's by definition not authentic. So authenticity and failure go together.
Okay, thank you. I didn't think we were going to go to Three Weddings and a Funeral at the end of the brief point. Alenka, Slavoj in there said he hopes that you agree with this fundamental point. I was a little confused with your opening remark. You said the self comes from something negative, as it were, like a kind of shake-up. Could you elaborate on that?
No, I'm just trying to make this one more ontological point, that if you just juxtapose, let's say, the subject at the outside, and then on the inside we have some kind of substantial reality, or vice versa, the point is that this substantial reality is not as substantial as it may appear, that it is inconsistent, that it has cracks, and in this sense negativity inscribed into it, and that the subject kind of emerges, and precisely in this temporal loop sense that Slavoj just evoked, as something that kind of presupposes this negativity, ontological negativity of the, let's say, the reality itself, but it's not directly reflecting it, but reflects it through this double movement in which subject actually becomes something, gives form in a way, even as a symptom or as this kind of failure that actually is the emergence of the subject when it comes to gives form or to this failure of this inconsistency of the structure itself. So this is why, if I can relate to what Carlo said, and I really much agree here very much, it's that what is the basic like fantasy that actually fills in these cracks in the universe? It's this fantasy that there is some big outside out there to which we have no, this is precisely something that is very much tainted by our perspective, which is not, I would say, precisely reflective enough or taking into account this kind of negativity that subject is and also in a way embodies. And so I don't know, for me, experience, one thing to point when we talk about experience is precisely the fact that experience is never immediate. Even the most, what we call the most basic experience, I mean, and here Kant was right, already presupposes a whole lot of things. So there is this, in this mediation or non-immediacy is also there when we talk about apparatus of language in terms of mathematical or physical formulas. I mean, this is the crucial question then becomes, is this mediation, this kind of rupture, this kind of intervention, language does not belong to me and it does not belong to the word exactly. Is this an obstacle necessarily to our, let's say, knowing something or getting in touch with some real and having consequences in this real or not? And my claim would be that no, not necessarily. Why would this necessarily be an obstacle? Perhaps this kind of thing that seems to alienate us from the real is actually something that is real in itself, to the sense that it can put us in touch precisely at these points of like rupture, not failure, also impossibilities, but it could be something that actually connects us to reality rather than simply isolate us in some kind of discursive cage or whatever are these formulations. So this was basically the...
Can I add one sentence? Shut up. Just a reply to you and link with Carlo. Why we, the Lacanian Stalinist Troika, me, you, Mladen Dolar Lacanians, why we are so fascinated by quantum physics? Because we want to be ultimately materialists. But we are aware the lesson of quantum physics, not only of it, but especially of it, is we have to abandon this 70s and onward century notion of materialist means there is empty space and then some small particles floating there. No, emptiness, waves, whatever, all that. This, the matter should be radically redefined. So our fascination with quantum physics, with Carlo, and also, you also have your troika, which is you, Francesca, and Lee Smolin. No, you are for me the quantum counterpart of our Stalinist troika. What we are looking for you is, as Alenka said, okay, subjectivity, yes, something unique, blah, blah, blah. But how must reality itself be structured so that something like subjectivity can emerge? We reject here this vulgar evolutionary materialism, which is empty words, but also, I hope you, Carlo, will agree, guys who are amusing to read, but I radically disagree with them, Donald Hoffman, guys like him, who give to quantum theory a mystical obscurantist term. The idea is quantum physics explains not how consciousness emerged from reality, but how reality emerged from interacting consciousnesses. In a certain gap disappears here, and the big ontological question, as you said, Alenka, is precisely how to formulate this gap, impossibility, tension, which must already be in, under quotation marks, out there in reality prior to self in the sense of human self. That's our big philosophical problem. That's why we need people like Carlo.
Well, let me bring Carlo back on this ontological
That was my
point.
idea.
The second thing. You're going to put me out of a job if you're not careful. Carlo, I was reading the piece that you did for the festival this morning, where you wrote, in quantum physics, an observer can be a detector, a screen, or even a stone. Anything that's affected by a process. It doesn't need to be conscious or human or living or anything of that sort. You're talking about an observer there. But we typically think observers, subjects, can't be things like bicycles, chairs, and carrots and things like that. They need to be like integrated brains, complex processes. Could you clarify what you think could count as a subject? Because it sounds like you might be coming towards the sort of idealist position there in that quote that I imagine you don't want to associate yourself with.
Yes. Let me try to answer.
To continue watching this video, click the link in the top left or in the description below.
With a free trial, you can enjoy the full talk and thousands more.
Thank you for being part of the conversation.